also solve our problems if we had a proper vote. And our electronic voting machines, at least in this state, often vote for a Democrat candidate, pre-programmed. So until we get the vote, what can we do?
Okay.
That's
Well,
the problem.
of course, many of these problems are statewide, and I think you're getting more aggressive than ever into looking into these things and having something to do with it. That is very, very important. But I complain a lot about the democratic process here in this country. Some states actually offer more opportunity for alternative choices. Like in New York, if you run, you could be on the ballot on 4 different names. You could be a conservative, libertarian, and Republican, and something else. And then you put these votes together. In Texas, if I put my name down as a Republican, I can't run as a libertarian. This would encourage it. So that is a change that we could make. But people a lot of times will come to me that, you can't get those Republicans to agree with what you want to do. You have to go outside the party system. And there's some argument about that, except that it's not practical because of the process. It's hard to get on ballots. You can't get in the debates. And the election process is rigged so often. But I'll tell you what really annoys me the most about this is the pretense. And one of the arguments for going over into places like Iraq is we're going to spread democracy. They learned that from Woodrow Wilson, make the world safe for democracy. And yet we still do this. And so we go over there, we demand and kill people with the idea that we are going to impose on you the democratic system. Then they have an election. We don't like their election. We won't even support the person that was elected. At the same time, we're here at home and we have a struggle. I say we need to clean up our mess here and clean up the electoral process here and not over there. Yeah, okay, yeah, here we go.
Hi, my name's Jim Bryant. When you get elected president, what's the first thing you're going to do in office?
Where you have the most authority is in foreign policy. Because, I would like to repeal a lot. There will be some things. I have at least in my mind said that if there are illegal presidential orders, I should be allowed to issue a presidential order to repeal bad presidential orders. But on foreign policy, you're in charge of the troops. And there's no reason, just yesterday, some Afghan pilot shot and killed 8 of our guys. I mean, that to me is a waste. I would just start bringing them home and stop them.
What do you see happening practically with healthcare policy in like the next 5 years?
Next 5 years? Unfortunately, on health care, I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. On health care programs, the most we can hope for is to legalize a choice to get out of the system. That is what we have to have. Just like in education, the federal government gets more and more control, the quality deteriorates, but still we have the right to opt out. We have the right to teach our kids at home and go to private schools, and that at least gives some competition. In medicine, it should be the same way, and Republicans have been pretty good on this issue, arguing the case for the tax credit and the medical savings account, which means that if you as an individual would like to take care of yourself and not participate in any of the government programs, that you can deduct the cost of your medical care, put some money in the bank so you can negotiate all the prices that are smaller, have a major medical policy, prices actually would come down, you would get control again, the consumer has to get control. I don't think it's going to happen, but that's what we should hope for, that we could do even without eliminating the rest. I'm afraid in 5 years, not a whole lot of changes will happen, and that the whole medical care system is going to suffer because of runaway inflation. And then everybody is going to be struggling, and then it will be cash payments, and it's going to be a real mess. I I think we offer the real opportunity, and we should have a lot more competition in medicine. And this whole idea of holistic medicine being denied and you can't participate in the vitamin industry controlled by the drug companies. I think there's way too much licensures in medicine. People should be able to pick and choose where they get their medicine, and prices would come down. You know, we have family hospital bills at times, and I am just aghast at how high they are. And I argue the case that when I was in medicine at the beginning, there was no Medicare and no Medicaid. And prices were always the lowest. And I worked in a church hospital. Prices were low and nobody was turned out. But today, there are no real private charity hospitals anymore. Everybody's involved with the government, and everybody comes in. If you're not on the program, you get put on the program, and everybody has cost problems, so everybody gets charged the maximum. It's just so far removed from the market that we have this mess. But that's hope I'm wrong on that, but believing that in 5 years it'll be much worse because we'll go through runaway inflation.
One more question, that's it, okay?
You can pick them. I don't want to.
Oh my God. I'm going to have everybody mad at me. They're all my good friends, too. Okay, I'm going to go with this guy. I'm sorry.
Right on.
Dr. Paul, where do you stand on the reinstatement of Glass-Steagall Act?
Okay, Glass-Steagall. Glass-Steagall is the one that prevented the banks from getting involved in investments. It's very interesting because, you know, most people see problems with that because the banks did too much and then they got the bailout. But when they backed off and repealed Glass-Steagall, I voted against it. And you say, well, why? Why would you do that? Isn't the market say that banks should do anything they want and they should invest in, have their own investments and all? But we don't have free market banking, and the insurance is the taxpayer, and I saw that as allowing banks to be irresponsible, backed up by the taxpayers, and that's exactly what happened. But if you had free markets and sound money, you wouldn't have restraints. There wouldn't be the lender of last resort, there wouldn't be fractional reserve banking, there wouldn't be the FDIC, and it would hold restraints on the bank. So no, in free market banking, the banks would be allowed to do this, so that would mean I would not have a Glass-Steagall. But it's interesting that I'm not for the Glass-Steagall, but voted against it because I didn't want to put the burden on the taxpayer, which has actually happened, you know, just recently. Anyway, thank you very much, and I was glad to be here. Got to take off. Hey, thank you.